What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. So this is kind of like a follow-on from the previous video that I uploaded talking about the how-to video for Luffy and Law. Now that video was a little bit difficult to make because for a character such as that, they're so open-minded in the fact that, you know, they can use anything in the game pretty much. So trying to talk about what type of characters to bring, it's really open-ended. You could really bring whatever you want for a character such as Luffy and Law. Now, you don't get as much freedom when you're running a character such as V2 Big Mom. Now, in terms of the Sugo Fest, I think many would agree that V2 Big Mom is almost like the consolation prize of the Sugo Fest. I think Luffy and Law is definitely the main prize that many people would be looking for. I know there are some people out there that are really weirdly wired in the fact that they would prefer Big Mom over Luffy and Law. I don't really understand why. Luffy and Law is so much fun, but I guess Big Mom in her own way is also quite fun. So in this video, pretty much similar to Luffy and Law, we're going to be talking about the character itself and understanding what she does, how to best utilize her, and we'll talk about some units that are really good with V2 Big Mom. So let's start off. So first of all, one thing that we have to say is that technically this is like a trio unit, but it's classified as Big Mom and Zeus, and also Big Mom and Prometheus. It's really weird the way that it came out. But for Big Mom, Zeus, and Prometheus, they are both Powerhouse Striker, whichever one you switch in between. However, when you combine into the full form, it is Powerhouse Slasher, where she has Napoleon. So it's very weird, very odd. Honestly, if I was building the character, I would have preferred it to stay Powerhouse Striker the entire way through. But it is what it is. And the really cool thing about this character as well is that she's int all the way through with her dual form and each of her Zeus and Prometheus forms. She is fully int. And then her stats are pretty good overall. Now, for the captain abilities. Now, the very interesting thing about this dual unit is that I believe this is the first dual unit in the game that has the exact same captain ability, no matter which character you switch to. So it's very odd. So no matter if you're Zeus or Prometheus, if there are one of every color in your crew, you get 1.75 times increased damage taken. So that's obviously not good, but it will give you a 3.25 times attack boost and a 2 times health boost. I can't think of too many other legends in the game that boost health by 2 times. I think Legend Hody is also a 2 times health booster. So there aren't many, honestly. So a 2 times health boost is huge. So if you really think about it, technically, if you think about it, it's a 1.25 times health boost in terms of her tankiness, because with the increased damage taken and the HP taken into consideration, technically through tankiness, it's a 1.25 times health boost. But with that 2 times health boost, when you're running double Big Mom, her actual health value is humongous, and that's very important for the way this character functions. Now, she has an added benefit here as well. Recovers health proportional to the number of enemies that you defeated in that turn, multiplied by your crew's recovery at the end of that turn. So as an example, if you have, let's say, 3,000 recovery total with all your characters on your team, every time you KO an enemy, you recover your crew's recovery. So you recover, like in that example, 3,000 HP every time you KO an enemy, which is actually pretty good, right? Actually pretty good. And then when you combine her into her dual form, it is again pretty similar, except that the fact that you get a 4 times attack boost instead. The increased damage taken, the health, and the recovery all stay the same. You just get slightly higher attack from 3.25 all the way up to 4 times. Now, I remember when these characters first came out in Japan, a lot of people were really wondering, like, why would they bring out Luffy and Law, who is a Rainbow 4.5, and then you have a character like this, which has a very strict condition, also has increased damage taken, and is only a 4 times captain. It's so odd, man. I feel like Luffy and Law should have been scaled down a bit, and then this Big Mom should have been bumped up a bit in terms of her captain ability. Like, I think Luffy and Law should have been a 4.25 rainbow, and Big Mom should have been a 4.25 rainbow as well, with all the types on the crew when she's fully combined. But it is what it is. Now, her sailor ability is nothing too crazy here. You get base HP boost, which is interesting. 150 is a pretty good boost, and also makes basically all orbs beneficial on herself as a sub. Now, her special ability is unique because 2 main things, really. Number 1 is her very unique stat boost effect, where you will get a base stat increase on all of your characters based on your HP for 1 turn. We'll talk about that later. Obviously, you fuse for 3 turns, which is great. And then if your health is above half, when you activate the special, you get a 3.5 times chain lock for 1 turn. So number one, it's the highest chain lock in the entire game, but it is, you know, put under the covers of a condition of being above half HP, which is quite annoying. I feel like that, honestly, that probably should have not even been there. Just being a 3.5 times chain lock would have been fair, in my opinion, considering this character came out at the same time as Luffy in lore. Very odd. But this new mechanic, the boosting attack, base stat attack of all characters based on your HP. So there is a note on the database and it says the base attack boost is equal to your current HP divided by 100. The maximum effect is at 100,000 HP, which gives you 1,000 base attack. This is huge. This is massive. And you guys will see when we go and have a team set up and you see how much damage this special applies. So with the stat boost, as it says here, the maximum threshold that it will work at is 100,000. So it scales between 1 HP and 100,000 HP. If you have more than 100,000 HP when you use the special, it will just act as if you have 100,000 HP to calculate the special. But basically, you can get up to 1,000 additional base stat added to the character. So for example, we have this Big Mom here with 1898 attack. Now, without cotton candies, if you use her special, if you're at full, getting the full effect, that'd be 2,898 base attack, which is huge. And you gotta remember that captain abilities, ship effects, cotton candies, attack boost, orb boost, all of these effects will stack up your damage even further because it's all based on your attack value. And obviously characters that have high attack do more damage. So if you give a character 1,000 additional attack, that's a massive difference. That really, truly makes a difference. Now, this character, and there is also one other character, Stampede Luffy, in the game that actually does what Big Mom does here. Stampede Luffy's a little bit different because he only does it for himself, but Big Mom does it for your entire team. Now remember, it is based on your HP, so if you're using Big Mom as a sub and you only have about, 20 to 30,000 HP, when you activate a special, you're only getting, 200 to 300 extra attack to your characters, which is still good, but you just won't get the full effect of this special unless if you're running her on an extremely tanky team. Either way, she also has a switch ability when you switch between Zeus and Prometheus, and when you activate her switch, she removes all paralysis on herself and also gives herself a guaranteed matching orb. Unfortunately, does not go through block orbs, which is kind of a big misstep. Even Luffy in lore gets rid of block orbs on themselves as well. So I feel like that's a really big misstep there. Now, on top of getting the matching orb, she also will boost her own attack and her own orbs by 1.5 times for one turn as well. And it's nice that you do get that matching orb on top of that, so with the attack and the orb boost combined, it calculates out to a 2.25 boost to Big Mom herself, which is great. And that just amount of damage in and of itself, on top of activating her special with a chain lock and the stat boosts, Big Mom herself is going to be doing crazy amounts of damage. So Big Mom overall, looking at her as a kit, she is a great character, honestly. She is really good. And I will be uploading a tier list video over the next couple of days. I know many of you guys are asking about that. Look forward to that. I don't think Big Mom is in tier 0. I don't think she's there at this current point in time just because she is a little bit difficult to build teams for. I personally don't own Big Mom, so I can't judge too much, but I would say personally, I would rank Big Mom not a tier 0 character, but she's pretty goddamn close. She's pretty much a tier 1 at the very least. But honestly, the biggest con about Big Mom herself is that you have to have one of every color in order to build your team efficiently. If you don't have one of every color, you don't get any boosts at all. That is the biggest, single most annoying component about V2 Big Mom, is the fact that, you have to have one of every color. And, we've had characters like that before. We've had legends like that before, but with Big Mom, it would have been nice if she didn't have to have that really annoying mechanic. But speaking about sockets, I unfortunately haven't got the page built already. But in terms of sockets for Big Mom, I think there's really only one build that I would recommend to you guys out there, and that would be the regular 4 sockets. These are the sockets you'd want to have on most of your characters, and also damage reduction. Now, orbs is obviously an option you can pick, but because Big Mom is based on having as much HP as possible, I think damage reduction is the easiest pick. Also for cotton candies as well, for those of you who don't really know what cotton candies throw on Big Mom. Now remember, she does have a healing mechanic with her captain ability, but you gotta remember, it's based on your whole team's recovery. So Big Mom doesn't have to have a high recovery stat, and look, she's only got 118 recovery, so that really doesn't matter. Remember, she's a 2 times HP boosting captain. Makes a lot of sense to just give her 100 HP and give her 100 attack, and that is a very good way to go. You do not need to feed her recovery cotton candy, so we can go ahead and add 100 attack and 100 HP to Big Mom. Now, the ships that I would recommend with Big Mom, there's actually a very good amount of ships that you could run with Big Mom. The Moby Dick is great because you get a significant amount more HP, and you do get, you know, a lot of health reduced at the start of the fight. But remember, every time you kill something, you get HP back, so you can actually recover that reasonably quickly, on top of auto healing and stuff like that as well. And if you pick up recovery orbs, like, getting the HP back with Big Mom is not really a big deal, so that's pretty nice to have. Another one that's good is oh my god, if I could click it correctly, is actually the Rocket Man. Now, the Rocket Man is based on running a full team of powerhouse characters. Now, the fact that Big Mom, every single way through with her Zeus, Prometheus, and dual form, she's always a powerhouse character. So the Rocket Man is a great ship to run because it gives you 1.55 attack, which is great, and it also gives you additional healing. So, you know, if you're ever at that period where you want to try and get more HP back to then activate Big Mom's special to get a higher stat boost, that's a really nice way to do it. Obviously, you have to run a full powerhouse team with that, but alternatively, the better powerhouse ship, as you guys just saw there, is the Zunisha ship, which means, you know, if you want to run this particular ship, you can run powerhouse or cerebral characters, gives you a good amount of HP and attack, and makes tandem and recovery orbs beneficial, and perfect's easy to hit. Honestly, one of my favorite ships in the entire game, but I think personally the best ship in the game for Big Mom is the German 66 ship. It is fantastic because you need to have one of every color in order to fulfill the ship's condition, which is easy to do with Big Mom because that's what you have to do. But it also gives you 2 turns of cooldown reduction at the start of the fight, and a 1.55 attack, a 1.25 times health boost. Perfect's easy to hit, and if you have a recovery or tandem orb on your character, they get an additional 1.1 times attack. So I think that the German ship, in terms of damage output, easily is the best choice, and the cooldown reduction is nice. It allows you to clear content much quicker. But there actually is another ship that's really good as well, the Megalo ship, which gives you HP boost, and if your captain is either Psi or Int, you get the attack, of course. You get a slight recovery boost, which helps with Big Mom's captain ability, and it also gives you 10% additional damage reduction, and it also has an orb blocking effect if you want to use orbs through different stages. So the Megalo ship is a really good option as well. So there are lots of different options that you have in store here to just run with Big Mom, which is good. It's nice to have the variety. So having a look at this example team here, this team we can see is a full powerhouse team, and that's one of the great things about Big Mom, is that she is powerhouse all the way through, and we've already talked about that. And powerhouse easily are one of the best classes in the game as it stands right now on global, because you have characters like V2 Katakuri, you have Legend Cracker, who is honestly one of the best characters you can run with Big Mom. He has great orb manipulation. The combo boost obviously doesn't really matter that much with Big Mom because you've got a chain lock anyways, but that color affinity and orb manipulation is phenomenal. And also you've got this character here with Dex Oven, who is a powerhouse attack booster for multiple turns that you can carry through multiple stages, so that's great. And you also got Snake Man, who's also really great, though in more cases often than not you'd probably want to be running Snake Man over Big Mom as the captain, but if you have Big Mom and you want to try and find a really good team to use for her, this is a really good option. Now, there is something that we have to talk about with V2 Katakuri specifically, and I know a lot of people out there might know this already, but for those of you who don't know, there is a very, very interesting mechanic that you can run with V2 Katakuri. Okay, so let's take this example here. In this example team, it's the exact same one that we talked about earlier, but we replaced Snake Man for this Rob Lucci character. Now, this Rob Lucci is the dual character with Rob Lucci and Kaku that came out with the debut of V2 Big Mom. Now, there is a very, very interesting mechanic that works with V2 Katakuri. Now, remember Big Mom's captain ability. You need one of each color in order to get your increased damage taken, attack boost, and HP boost, and the recovery mechanic. You need all of the colors to get those effects to be active. The really cool thing that you can do is that with Rob Lucci here, when you switch with Rob Lucci to Kaku, you can see that he actually becomes a Dex character, which means that you actually don't have the abilities active to make sure that Big Mom's captain ability will be active, right? So now you've got 2 Dex characters, there's no strength character on your team. Look at the health, it goes down to 28,000. When we add the strength character, we can see it's 112,000. So when we switch between Lucci and Kaku, we lose like nearly 100,000 HP. The interesting thing is that HP that we lost actually counts towards V2 Katakuri's special ability. So by switching between Lucci and Kaku in this example, we've already charged V2 Katakuri special like pretty much up to 50% of its max capabilities. That's absolutely wild. So you can literally do this, switch, and obviously you won't have any attack boost or anything, but you can use Katakuri's special ability, and that's guaranteed like 10 million damage at the very least. So that's a really cool mechanic that I think a lot of people don't know about, but if you have V2 Katakuri and you have Big Mom, you should probably use this mechanic wherever you can, because it makes running V2 Katakuri so much faster. You don't have to sit there and stall and wait for the enemy to hit you and then do lots of healing. You can literally just walk up to a boss, switch, activate Katakuri special, and boom, you win. It's so cool. So that's a really interesting mechanic that I think a lot of people should realize. But remember, you know, if you do switch between Lucci and Kaku in this specific example, you go down to 28,000. So if you switch back to Lucci, you'll actually only have, you know, the 28,000 HP or whatever it is. So you're going to lose 75% of your health, but then again, you could run someone like this. You could run like Marco, right? Wherever he is, Marco. And then you could use his special to heal yourself back up to like close to full HP if you wanted to. So there's really cool things you can do. So, you know, I just wanted to show you guys that because I think a lot of people should understand this mechanic. It's very, very important if you guys do opt to run this. So I want to talk about characters that are going to inherently increase your damage output with V2 Big Mom. Obviously, depending on what type of content you're going up against, you would want to run a different support type unit. I don't really want to go through every single support type unit because literally you can use 4 other colors in the game and there are lots of utility units in those 4 colors. I want to just talk to you guys about characters that are going to increase your damage because that's one of the most important things when you're running teams. But anyways, let's go through it. So for attack boosters, you've got Colosseum Neko. Colosseum Neko, I should actually just type in Neko. Neko is great because he is an attack booster for Powerhouse and Striker, which Big Mom is a Powerhouse all the way through, so that's great. So you can run other Powerhouse and Striker type units in this team here with Neko. And Neko's great because he actually gives you matching orbs as well, and he gets rid of the block orbs. So allowing you to use a special like this, which gives you full ward of orbs and an attack boost, and then you can run Big Mom's special ability for like the chain lock and the stat boost as well, which is great. So Colosseum Neko is a very, very good choice. Another attack boost that we just talked about was Owen. Owen is great, being a powerhouse and fighter attack booster. So Owen's fantastic because he is for multiple turns. This guy's awesome. I love this character so much. I got to get to rainbowing him eventually. But Quick Whitebeard, he's awesome because he is also a powerhouse attack booster, and he is also a chain booster as well. So you could actually run his special ability, and then, you know, you could just let his chain boost do all the heavy lifting, and then you could use Big Mom on a turn after or a turn prior. But Big Mom and Whitebeard would work great together. You can honestly run like Whitebeard as the captain with a friend Big Mom or vice versa and run a team based off that. That could actually work pretty decently as well. Gear 4 Luffy is a pretty good choice as well, though I don't think too many people out there would have 2 Gear 4 Luffys, one for the quick version and one for the strength Snake Man version. But this guy's great because he makes recovery and tandem beneficial for your team, as well as providing a 2x attack boost rainbow to your whole team, which is very, very useful to have. Another character that's great is Legend Frankie, kind of like a weaker version of Gear 4. Remember, if you are choosing to run Legend Frankie, that you would need to run characters that are fighter, shooter, / a striker in order to get those boosts. He also will actually shuffle away those block orbs as well, which is pretty good. So Frankie's not a terrible option as well. Another good attack booster, and I guess technically an orb booster as well, is this Quick Rare Recruit Pedro. If the enemy does have the delay immunity or debuff immunity, you get a 1.75 attack and orb boost to your entire team. So that's nice to have because, you know, obviously those immunity buffs are quite common. Now this guy's great. This guy, dude, if you have Sanji and Judge, works so well with Big Mom. So the great thing about Sanji and Judge is that when you switch between the 2 characters, they don't change color. So you don't have to worry about, you know, fulfilling the mechanics of Big Mom. And he is a 2x attack and orb boost for powerhouse characters. So we've already talked about how good the powerhouse class already is on Treasure Cruise Global with that team we talked about earlier. You can run this guy for a 2x attack and orb boost, and his switch ability gives you the multiplier of the chain as well. So dude, this guy's awesome. Also makes side tandem and recovery beneficial for Powerhouse as well. Holy crap, dude. Sanji and Judge is so good. So that's it for like the attack boosters that I would suggest to you guys. Obviously, there's not too much leeway in terms of free to play, but you know, those characters are the ones that I would recommend. Now, in terms of orb boosters, now Snake Man we talked about is fantastic. Snake Man's great, but you know, if you have Snake Man, you should probably just run him as the captain. You know, in more cases often than not, Snake Man will be better. Also, Legend Nami is great. Legend Nami is really cool because it's obviously based on your captain being, you know, cerebral driven, free spirit, or powerhouse and stuff like that, which Big Mom will obviously fulfill, and you get the color affinity and the orb boost. So Nami's a great choice for your Dex position if you have her. Another legend that's great is Dex Rayleigh, because he gives you a 1.75 orb boost and also will give you the chain lock as well. So you know, it does compete for chain locking with this character up here, but you know, if you have Rayleigh and he's like your only good Dex character, then he's a good choice still for the team. It's still an option that you could run. Marco is one that we talked about earlier. Now, mainly you'd want to be using him for his healing mechanic rather than his orb boost, because his orb boost is very, very minor, but that health recovery on top of the orb boost is a great option. Marco is going to be a great asset to Legend Big Mom teams. And then also Dex Neptune, actually. Neptune, the free-to-play Neptune that came out relatively recently on Global. He is great because he is an orb booster for Striker and Powerhouse. Big Mom is both of those classes, as well as providing insane amounts of utility. So Dex Neptune is a great option for free-to-play. And also Sight Opera. Now, this is a character that I would highly suggest. I've talked about it many times in my videos. This is a character that I would suggest feeding the double special activation tablets to, because with the special ability you can get color affinity and an orb boost and amazing AoE damage. This guy's awesome. Really, really good. But obviously with Opera, he only does the boosts to the classes that carrot boost. So it's like Fighter, Shooter, Striker, Slasher, and Cerebral, I think it was. Yeah, so those are the classes that he does it for. But obviously Big Mom is Striker, so it fulfills for Big Mom. But, you know, obviously you want to be running a team based off of that. So those are the main orb boosters. Now, there are a bunch of other characters that are really, really good with Big Mom. So Colosseum Magellan, I mean, he's just a good character in general. But he's a great conditional booster. He's a defense reducer. He poisons. He does a lot of good stuff. So Magellan is a fantastic choice for the conditional boost. Raid Zora is an interesting run because the fact that when Big Mom becomes the dual version, she actually becomes a slasher, which we talked about a little earlier. And Raid Zora is great because he can give you that color affinity, or what you can do is you can run like a slasher team with all different colors and run Zora as a support character on Big Mom, because when she combines, she is a slasher. So that is actually another option that you could do. Cracker we talked about briefly before. Cracker is a great option because of his color affinity boost, and you can use his special previously before Big Mom to get a massive chain boost as well. And the orb manipulation is very, very key. So Cracker is a great choice. And we also talked about V2 Katakuri. Katakuri, my boy, that mechanic that you can do with him is crazy. V1 Katakuri, I guess you could use as well for the orb manipulation, and if you have another delayer on your team, you can get a delay conditional boost. Probably not the best choice, but it is an option. Raid Bartow is an interesting character as well. Just talking about other characters that are just like really interesting characters to run. Bartow's great because he can help you reduce damage taken. So if you would take like a huge amount of damage from the enemy, you can just pop his special and basically reduce it to nothing. But another good thing about Bartow is that he heals half of your max HP. So with Big Mom and the amount of HP that she gets, recovering 50% of that is huge. So that's really, really nice to have. I guess another healer in the same vein as that, similar to Legend Marco, is the original Psy Marco. Fully recovers all of your health. So that's a good choice as well. And I guess just the last character that I could really talk about is Shirahoshi. Shirahoshi is another really powerful legend that you could use because she guarantees you the full board of rainbow orbs and also provides that healing, which is very, very important. So Shirahoshi is a good option if you don't have many other good healers, but Shirahoshi being probably the best healer in the game, that's a very, very nice option to have, because she also, with her 6+, she also does something else, doesn't she? Yeah, reduces recovery down and no healing, which is recovery bind by 15 turns. So that's pretty good. So if you have Shirahoshi, that's not a bad choice, honestly. Not a bad choice. But anyways, I really hope that this gave you a pretty good insight into V2 Big Mom, and if you were lucky enough to pull her during the Sugo Fest, now you have a little bit more of an idea as to what type of characters you should be aiming to get in order to utilize Big Mom more. Remember, she can use one of every color, so make sure to use the database to full effect to filter through the types that you need, on top of applying, you know, the specific debuff removers that you need. So make sure to use the database effectively. I keep saying, I even said it in my last video as well, it's very, very important. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.